All right, welcome everybody. We are starting today with the Srimad Devi Bhagavata Purana, Skandha 3, chapter 19. Partway through the story of the princess Shashikala of Kashi and the deposed Prince Sudarshana of Kosala living in exile, who have fallen in love with each other from afar through the Devi sending them dreams of each other. And currently, the parents of Princess Shashikala, the king and queen of Kashi, are attempting to arrange her marriage through hosting a Swayamvara. And she has made it known to her mother that she has already chosen her husband. Chapter 19. Vyasa said, after the king Subahu had spoken thus, having heard this news that she wants to marry this particular prince, and his response was to laugh this off as unrealistic and absurd desire, given that prince is no longer a prince. He's in exile living in an ashram somewhere. The queen made her daughter Shashikala, who had always sweet smiles on her lips, sit on her lap, and after consoling her with sweet words, began to say, "O fair-eyed, you always practice vows and other religious performances. Why are you then speaking these unpleasant words? The Raja has heard all what you wanted to say and has been very sorry. That Sudarshana is very unfortunate. He is deprived of his kingdom, helpless, void of wealth and army, abandoned by his friends, exiled with his mother in the forest, subsisting on roots and fruits, lean and thin. Thus he is not worthy of becoming the husband of yours. There are many learned, beautiful, approved of all, qualified with all royal marks, princes, fit to become your husband. They all will come in this Svayamvara. There is one brother of this Sudarshana who is endowed with all kingly qualifications, beautiful and qualified in various other ways. He is the king of the Kosala country. There is another point worth consideration. Please hear it. The Raja Yudhajit is trying his best to kill Sudarshana on a befitting opportunity. He already counseled with his ministers, and in a desperate fight he killed the Raja Virasena and installed his daughter's son on the throne of Kosala. Even as he came up so far as the hermitage of Bharadvaja to kill Sudarshana, afterwards he was prevented by the Munis from doing so, then he returned home. Shashikala replied, Mother, that prince, though he be staying in the forest, is approved of by me. Under the advice of Shariati, the chaste Sukanya married Chavanamoni and served her husband all along. So I will marry this king's son and will always be engaged in serving him. The women are able to attain heaven and emancipation if they serve their husbands. Therefore, if we be sincere in serving our husbands, we will no doubt be happy. I have seen in my dream that the goddess, the point being like regardless of their wealth and station in life and so on. I have seen in my dream that the goddess Bhagavati has ordained him to be my husband. How can I now accept anybody else as my husband than him? The Devi Bhuvaneshwari has pictured his frame firmly in my heart. I will never be able to leave my dearest, beautiful husband and to contract marriage with any other person. Vyasa said. Thus, the mother, the daughter of the king of Videha, found many signs and at last desisted. She then reported to the Raja all the words of Shashikala. When Shashikala, on the day before the marriage day, became very anxious and sent in a great hurry one trustworthy Brahmin versed in the Vedas to go to the hermitage of Bharadvaja with this message. O Brahmin, go in such a way to Sudarshana as my father may not be able to know about it, and tell Sudarshana all my words. My father has called in for my marriage a Swayamvara ceremony. Many powerful kings will attend with their armies. O Deva, the goddess Bhagavati has ordered me in a dream, and accordingly I, with full gladness of my heart, have become yours already in my heart. Rather, I will take poison or jump in a blazing fire than I can obey my father and mother's words and marry another. By my mind word, indeed, I have selected you as my husband, and pleasure and happiness is sure to attend on us by the blessings of the Bhagavati. Please depend unto her, at whose command this whole universe, moving and unmoving, is resting, unto that great destiny, and come to this place without fail. What the goddess whose commands Shankara all the other devas, whose commands Shankara and all the other devas obey, has ordered, can never turn out false. O Brahman, you are the foremost among the virtuous. Do therefore call on that king's son in privacy, and speak out all this to him. What shall I say more to you? Do all that my object may be fulfilled. Thus saying, she gave the Brahmin his dakshina and sent him to Sudarshana. He went there and reported the matter duly to him and quickly returned back. On coming to know all this, Sudarshana determined to set forth, and the Maharshi Bharadvaja with gladness sent him. Vyasa said, seeing her son ready to depart, his mother Manorama became very sorry and, trembling and shedding tears, spoke thus to her son. Sudarshana, where are you going now? How do you dare to go there in the Swayamvara alone, where there are present kings and all your terrible enemies? O son, you are as yet a boy. The Raja Yudhajit will certainly go there with the object of killing you. There will be nobody to help you. You should never go to that place. You are my only son. I am very poor and helpless. I have no other to lean upon than you. Therefore you ought not to throw me in despair at this moment. See, Sudarshana, the Raja Yudhajit, who had slain my father, that uncontrollable king, will come there. If you go there alone, he will certainly kill you. Sudarshana replied, Mother, what is inevitable will certainly come to pass. There is no need to discuss further on the subject. I will go at the command of Jagadamba to that assembly hall of Swayamvara. O auspicious one, do not give vent to sorrow. I fear none by the grace of the Bhagavati. Vyasa said. Thus saying, Sudarshana mounted on his chariot and was ready to start forth. Seeing this, Manorama began to bless him and to cheer him. She said, and this that she now chants is translated here, but it is in fact the chanting of a Kavacha mantra, the Devi Kavacha mantra. O son, let Ambika Devi protect your front, Padma Lochana protect your back, Parvati your two sides, Shiva Devi all around you, Varahi protect you in dreadful paths, Durga protect you in royal forts, Kalika protect you in terrible battle, Parameshwari in the platform hall, Matangi in the Swayamvara hall, Bhavani, the protectress of the world amidst the kings, Girija in mountain passes, Chamunda in the sacrificial ground, and let the eternal Kamaga protect you in the forests. O descendant of Raghu's family, let the Vaishnavi Shakti protect you in quarrels, let Bhairavi protect you in battle and amongst your enemies. O son, let the Mahamaya Jagadhatri Bhuvaneshwari protect you everywhere and at all times. Vyasa said. Then Manorama, speaking thus to him, trembled with fear and again said, O Sudarshana, I too will accompany you. It will not be otherwise. I will never be able to remain anywhere without you, and even for the twinkling of an eye. O son, carry me thither where you are desiring to go. Thus saying, his mother with her attendants was ready to start forth with him. The Brahmanas pronounced their blessings, and they all then went out. Sudarshana, the scion of the Raghu family, mounted then alone on his chariot. So it's actually unclear whether his mother did come with him. And reached Kashi. There the Raja Subahu, hearing that he had come, welcomed him and worshipped him with various presents. He gave him the house for his residence and made arrangements for his food and drink and other necessary requirements, and gave order to his servants to wait on the prince. Then from various quarters, the Rajas assembled together, and Yudhajit too came there, accompanied by his daughter's son Shatrajit. The Raja of Karusha, the Raja of Madra, the Raja of Sindhu, the Raja of Mahishmati, the valiant warriors, the Raja of Panchala, the kings of the mountainous tract, the Raja of Karnat, the powerful Raja of Kamarupa, the Raja of Chola, and the very powerful Raja of the Vidarbhas, with 180 Akshauhini soldiers all arrived and assembled there. Kashi was then crowded all over with soldiers. Many other Rajas came there on their beautiful elephants to witness the Svayamvara ceremony. So those are the ones who have come to participate in the ceremony. Others came just to witness it, not seeking Shashikala as their wife. Then the princes began to talk amongst them, saying, the Raja's son Sudarshana too has come here and is staying unfocused and calm, unconfused and calm. Is it that the high-minded Sudarshana, born of the Kakutsta family, has come there on a chariot, helpless, to marry? Can it be that the princess will overlook these kings with soldiers and weapons and select the long-armed Sudarshana? Then the Raja Yudhajit addressed all the other kings. I will slay Sudarshana for the sake of the princess. There is no doubt in this. Hearing Yudhajit's words, the Raja of Kerala, the foremost of those who know morals, began to say, O Raja, in this Ichcha Svayamvara, it is not proper to fight. Here there will be no marriage for the prowess. There is no arrangement fixed to steal away the bride by force. Here the bride will select of her own free choice. What cause can there then crop up here for quarrels? Before you had driven him out of his kingdom, and though you are the superior king, you have taken his kingdom by force and installed your daughter's son on the throne. O Raja, this Sudarshana is born of the Kakutsta family and is the son of the Raja of Kosala. Why would you kill this innocent boy? O long-lived one, you'd better be sure that there is some God of this universe. He is governing all, and if you commit anything wrongful, know that you will get the fruit of that due to you. There is no doubt in this. O Raja, there is victory everywhere of the truth and dharma. Always you find adharma and falsehood defeated in the end. Therefore dost thou forsake your evil and mean intentions and pacify your vile mind. Your daughter's son is also present here. He is beautiful and prosperous and is reigning a kingdom. Why will not that bride elect him as bridegroom? Consider again that there are many other powerful princes and kings in this Swayamvara. The princess may select one of them. Therefore let all the kings assembled here say that if the selection of the bridegroom be performed in that way, what cause of a quarrel can there crop up? Knowing all these, you ought not to quarrel here. Thus ends the 19th chapter on the going to the Swayamvara assembly of Sudarshana and the other Rajas, and the Mahapuranam Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses by Maharishi Vedavyasa. Chapter 20. Vyasa said, O noble-minded one, the Raja Yudhajit replied to the address of the Raja of Kerala thus, O Raja, you are truthful and have restrained your passions. What you have said just now in this assembly of kings is all correct and approved by morality. O best of the kings, you are born of a high family. You had better say, how can this take place, that when so many fit persons are present here to become the bridegroom, can an unworthy person take away the offer? As a jackal never becomes fit to enjoy the dews of a lion, so this Sudarshana is unfit to acquire this bride. The Brahmanas have the Vedas as their strength. The Kshatriya kings take bows and arrows to be their source of strength. This is ordained everywhere. Therefore, O Raja, what wrong have I done in my statement? Kindly explain. The power of the Rajas is the befitting money given to the parents of a bride. According to this, the strongest manage to acquire the bride, a jewel. Kshatriyas that are weak can never acquire it. Make this the rule in this marriage. This earth is fit to be enjoyed by the heroes only, not by cowards and scheming people. Otherwise, quarrels are sure to ensue amongst the Rajas. So this dispute arose in that Swayamvara hall, and the Raja Subahu was called in. The kings could see that the reality of things, the kings that could see the reality of things, then addressed the Raja Subahu. O Raja, you are requested to establish a golden rule in this marriage ceremony. What is your object in calling this Swayamvara? You'd better give it out after a mature consideration. Please be explicit. Whom have you intended to give over your daughter to in this marriage? Subahu said, My daughter has mentally selected Sudarshana. I prevented her repeatedly from doing this, but she did not accept my word. What shall I do now? The mind of my daughter now is not at her will. Sudarshana too, though uninvited, has come here singly and is residing calmly without any signs of disturbance in his mind. Vyasa said, Then the chief kings all invited Sudarshana there. Sudarshana too came there quietly, and the princes, seeing his quiet nature, asked him, O one engaged in practicing vows, who has invited you here? Why have you come here singly in this assembly of kings? You have no force, no ministers, no help, no wealth, no army. O intelligent one, then explain, why have you come here alone? In this assembly of Rajas, you see that the powerful monarchs are ready to fight with each other for the sake of this princess. What do you intend to do under these circumstances? Your brother, too, has come here to have the princess. He has got his army and is also marked with his strength and valor. The powerful Yudhajit has come here also to help him. O observer of good vows, seeing you without any army, we have narrated to you all the facts. Now think and do accordingly. If you please, remain here or go anywhere else. Sudarshana replied, True, I have no army, no help, no wealth, no forts, no friends, and no kings to protect me. Hearing that Swayamvara will be held here, I have come here to witness it. But there is one particularity here. It is this. The Devi Bhagavati has ordered me in my dream to come here. Under her command, I have come here. There is no doubt in this. I have got no other object in view. I have obeyed what the Bhagavati Bhuvaneshwari has ordered me to do. Today, no doubt, what she has ordained will happen. O Rajas, I am seeing everywhere the supreme goddess Bhagavati Bhavani. Therefore, there is no enemy of mine in this world. But he who will turn out an enemy of mine will be duly punished by the Mahavidya Mahamaya. I do not know what is enmity. O Rajas, what is inevitable will surely come to pass. There will be nothing otherwise. I am always depending on fate, on destiny. What is the use then in thinking what will be the result? Everywhere in the devas, in the spirits, in humans, in all beings, the Devi's power is existent. It cannot be otherwise. O Rajas, whomever she wishes, she makes kings, masters of wealth, or devoid of wealth. What then is the use of bothering my head in this? When even the gods Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesha without her presence became powerless to move their hands or feet, then why should I be anxious for the result? O Rajas, whether I am unable or able, or an ordinary person, you have nothing to consider. I have come here in this assembly hall under the command of the Supreme Bhagavati. What she has willed, she will do. I am not to care for that. O high-minded ones, you need not be afraid at all in this. I have told you all truth. Victory or defeat, I feel no shame in either of them, for I am always under the control of Bhagavati. Therefore, if there be any shame here, it is all hers. Vyasa said, hearing thus his words, and seeing that his mind was firmly devoted to Bhagavati, the kings looked at each other and said thus, O Sudarshana, what you have said is quite true. It is never otherwise. Still, Yudhajit, the Raja of Ujjain, is intent on killing you. O intelligent one, O sinless one, we have all come to know that there is no trace of evil in you. We were all overcome with pity for you, hence we have informed you. Now think and do the needful. Sudarshana said, you are all kind and large-hearted. What you all have said is quite true. What shall I tell you, being a minor as yet? O Rajas, no one can cause the death of another. All this world, moving and unmoving, is under the control of fate. No soul is independent. Everyone is under the effects of one's own karma. The pundits that have realized the truth can say that karma is of three kinds: accumulated, present, and prarabdha. This whole world is due to kala, karma, and svabhava, time, action, and the nature of individual beings. Unless the proper time comes, even the devas cannot kill humans. Humans are killed on account of some immediate cause, but the mahakala, great time, is the real destroyer, through whatever immediate cause or other. My father, though a destroyer of many others, was himself killed by a lion, and my mother's father was slain by Yudhajit in battle. The jivas, though caring hard to preserve their lives, are killed by fate in spite of all their cares. Or they may live 1,000 years, though there is none to protect them. O dharmic kings, I do not fear a bit from Yudhajit. I consider fate as the supreme, and I therefore remain always undisturbed, calm, and quiet. Daily and constantly I remember Bhagavati, who is the mother of all this universe. She will look after my welfare. Behold, one will have certainly to bear the burden of one's past karma, whether it be good or bad. One's own actions must bear their fruits. Then why shall he be sorry who has come to know this? Less intelligent, deluded persons, on getting pain from their own actions, turn out enemies on very trifling matters. I do not grieve, nor do I fear on account of such enemies. I am staying here in this assembly of kings, cool-minded. Under the order of Chandika, I have come here to see this Swayamvara. What is inevitable will surely come to pass. The words of the Bhagavati are the best proof. I do not know any other. My mind is entirely given up to her. There will be nothing otherwise than what she has ordained, whether it is good or whether it is bad. O Rajas, let Yudhajit remain in peace. I have no enmity with him. He who will deal inimically with me will certainly reap his reward. There is not the least doubt in this. Vyasa said, O Raja, when Sudarshana addressed them thus, all the Rajas became very glad, and they all remained there for the Swayamvara. Sudarshana too went to his camp, and remained also calm and quiet. The next day, the Raja Subahu invited all the Rajas present in his city to their respective seats in the Swayamvara hall. The princes and kings, decorated with best ornaments, came and took their seats on their respective platforms covered with valuable carpets of the best workmanship. The Rajas then looked like the celestial devas, wearing divine ornaments and apparels, blazing with the luster of gems, and remained to see the Swayamvara affair. Everyone there had this foremost thought in his mind: when will the princess, the bride-elect, come there, and who will be the man so fortunate as to be blessed with garlands offered by her? If accidentally she offers the garland to Sudarshana in this Swayamvara assembly, then will ensue, no doubt, desperate struggles amongst the kings. While they were thus considering, sounds of drums were loudly sounded. Then Subahu, the Raja of Kashi, went to his daughter and found that Shashikala had just taken her bath and put on her silken clothes and adorned herself with various ornaments and sweet garlands. Thus dressed in complete marriage dress, she began to shine like another goddess, Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth. The Raja, on seeing his daughter dressed in silken cloth, afflicted with anxious thoughts, just smiled and said, "Child, rise and take the beautiful garlands by your hands and go to the Swayamvara hall, and just look at the assembly of kings. O lean-bodied one, whoever, well qualified, beautiful, and of noble birth amongst the kings, is reigning in your mind, select him. O graceful one, the kings from various quarters are adorning their respective seats. You had better go and see and select whomever you like." Vyasa said. When Subahu had spoken thus, Shashikala, who generally talked little, replied with sweet sonorous words impregnated with dharmic truth. "Father, I won't go before the kings who are inspired by lust. Women like me never go there. It is those that are dissolute that attend such places. Father, I have heard from the religious texts that women should cast their glances on their husbands only, and not on any other. The woman that goes to many persons is mentally claimed by all. Each of them will contemplate strongly, let her be mine. Thus her chastity is destroyed. Desirous of selecting her husband, when the woman holding in her hands the garland for her would-be husband goes to the Swayamvara hall, then she turns out like an ordinary unchaste woman. As a prostitute going to a public shop looks on many persons and judges of their merits and demerits according to her own power of judgment, the maid that goes in the Swayamvara hall does exactly the same. How can I behave myself in the hall of the assembly of kings like a prostitute who does not attach her feelings firmly on a single individual, but glances constantly at many lustful persons? Though this system of Swayamvara is approved by the elders, I am not going to follow it now. I will take the vow of a chaste woman and act upon that doctrine as perfectly as I may. I will never be able to act like an ordinary woman going in the Swayamvara hall, mentally determining many and finally selecting one. Father, from the very beginning, I have already given myself up to Sudarshana in mind, word, and deed. I have not the least inclination to leave him and select another in his stead. O Raja, if you wish for my welfare, then give me on an auspicious day and an auspicious lagna to Sudarshana according to the prescribed rites." And thus ends the 20th chapter on the Swayamvara hall and the Raja's conversation there in Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses by Maharshi Veda Vyasa. Chapter 21. Vyasa said, on hearing the sound words of his daughter Shashikala, pregnant with reason, Subahu, the Raja of Kashi, became very anxious and began to think what he would do now. So short a space of time in this momentous occasion. He considered, all the powerful Rajas have come here on the intention that they would fight, and therefore they are all attended with their armies and followers respectively, and they are now sitting on their respective dioceses in the Swayamvara hall. If I go now and tell them that my daughter Shashikala is not willing to come of her own accord into the hall, the evil-minded Rajas will certainly kill me out of their wrath. I have not so much strength in my army and forts as to be able to decline all these kings and drive them away from my kingdom. Sudarshana too is alone, helpless, wealthless, a mere boy. What shall I do now? Alas, I am now plunged in deep sorrow. Thinking thus, with head bowed down by humility, the Raja went to the kings and said thus, O Rajas, the girl, though requested repeatedly by me and her mother, is not willing to come to this hall. What can I do now? I am your servant, and bowing my head at the feet of you all, pray to you to accept my worship, and return to your own cities respectively. I am ready to give a sufficient quantity of gems and jewels, clothes, elephants, chariots. Kindly accept these and go back to your own homes. My daughter is as yet a girl. If I chastise her, she may commit suicide, and I will be exceedingly sorry. Therefore, I am very much distressed with this thought. You are all fortunate, energetic, and of a merciful disposition. What will it serve you to accept this daughter of mine who is disobedient and unfortunate? I am your obedient servant. Show your mercy on me, and it is your duty to consider my daughter as your own daughter. Vyasa said, Hearing Subahu's words, the kings did not utter a single word, but Yudhajit, with eyes reddening with wrath, began to address the Raja of Kashi in an angry tone. O king, you are a veteran fool. What do you say now after committing a most blamable act? Had you any doubt as to your proceedings, why have you, out of sheer delusion, called this meeting hall of Swayamvara without thinking the matter beforehand? You have invited the kings and princes in this marriage ceremony of Swayamvara, and they have all assembled here. How can they now go back to their homes? Are you going to insult all these? And will you give your daughter in marriage to Sudarshana? Nothing can be more ignoble than this. The welfare-seeking person ought to judge beforehand and then to act. But you have started your work without any previous judgment. You will have to reap its fruit, there is no doubt in this. Why are you now thinking of giving your daughter to this helpless, wealthless Sudarshana in the presence of Rajas that are powerful and that command a great army? O most sinful one, today I will certainly kill you. Next I will kill Sudarshana, and then give your daughter to my daughter's son. Know that this is my firm resolve. Who is there when I am standing in this assembly that can aspire to carry away the bridegroom-elect by force or theft? Nothing to speak of Sudarshana, who is powerless, wealthless, and a mere boy. I spared his life before in the hermitage of Bharadvaja at the Muni's request, but today I will not spare the boy under any circumstances whatsoever. Therefore, please go and consult with your wife and daughter and give your dear beautiful daughter to my daughter's son. Be engaged in a marriage tie with me by giving your exquisitely beautiful daughter to my daughter's son. You can very well judge that it is always proper and advisable that a great man shall come under the protection of another great man. What happiness can you expect from this Sudarshana, who is helpless and banished from his kingdom, that you are going to give him your dear and auspicious daughter? Family, wealth, army, appearance, kingdoms, forts, and true friends and other helping persons. These a man should consider when he is going to give away his daughter in marriage to anybody, else there is no surety of happiness. Think over the royal custom and the never-failing dharma, and do what is proper. Never is it advisable to do any act abandoning the path of dharma and morals. You are my intimate friend, therefore I am telling you these good words. O Raja, you'd better bring your daughter surrounded by her attendant maids in this hall of Swayamvara. Let this daughter select any man other than Sudarshana. I have got no cause of quarrel, and the marriage will then be celebrated according to your will. O best of Rajas, the other kings are all of high descent, and they have armies, and are all in positions befitting your connection. If your daughter chooses any one amongst them, then no quarrels will arise. But if the daughter chooses Sudarshana, then certainly I will carry her off by force. Therefore, O Raja, act in such a way that no quarrels may occur in the future. Vyasa said, thus addressed by Yudhajit, the Raja of Kashi was very sorrowful, and after a heavy sigh, he went back to his palace and told with a grieved heart to his wife thus, O fair-eyed one, now I am completely under your control. You better explain to Shashikala that a dreadful quarrel is now to occur. What am I to do now? Vyasa said, hearing her husband's words, the queen went to her daughter and spoke thus. O child, quarrels have now ensued amongst the kings for your sake. Your father has become very sorrowful. Therefore, O fair one, choose any other man, your husband, than Sudarshana. O child, if you do not judge, and rashly choose Sudarshana, then the powerful king Yudhajit, possessing a large army, will no doubt kill you, me, and Sudarshana. It might be if quarrels ensue, you might be married to another husband. Therefore, you better think now and act. O dear-eyed one, it is now your incumbent duty to choose another king for your husband if you want your and my welfare and happiness. Leave Sudarshana. The mother thus advised her daughter. The king too afterwards explained and tried to convince her. But the girl spoke fearlessly. O Raja, what you have said is all true, but you know my firm resolve already. I won't ever select any other husband than Sudarshana. O Raja, if you are afraid and be in agony, then do this thing. Give me in marriage to Sudarshana and then drive us out of your city. He will put me in his chariot and go away from your city. After that, what is inevitable will surely come to pass. It cannot be otherwise. O Raja, you need not fear anything about what is kept in the womb of future by destiny. What is inevitable will happen, there is no doubt in this. The Raja said, O child, intelligent persons never show too much rashness and insolence. The learned people versed in the Vedas say it is never advisable to quarrel with many people. How can I give my daughter in marriage to one and then banish them both? The kings have turned out enemies. There is no heinous crime that they cannot commit now. O child, if it be your opinion, I can pledge something as a pawn for your marriage, as the Raja Janaka pledged in days of yore for his daughter Sita. I will also put forward a pawn very difficult to be carried out, as Janaka originally made an offer of the hands of Sita to whomsoever who would break the strong bow of Shiva. Thus the quarrels amongst the kings might be diminished, for he who will be able to fulfill the promise will be able to accept you. Then, be he Sudarshana or any other king, whoever will be strong enough to fulfill the promise will take you as his wife. Thus the quarrels will cease, and I will also be able to perform your marriage ceremony in peace and happiness. The daughter said, Father, on hearing from you, I am merged in an ocean of doubt, for it seems to me what you are saying is the act of a fool. I have already chosen in my mind Sudarshana for my husband. It cannot now be otherwise. O Raja, the mind is the source of virtue and advice. Virtue and vice. When I have mentally selected, how can I now forego him and choose another? O Raja, if you keep any pledge, then I will be subject to any and everybody. If one, two, or more fulfill the same pledge, I will then be subject to any or all of them. Father, in that case, quarrels may arise. What shall I do then? I cannot give my vote on this doubtful point. O Raja, you need not fear anything. You had better give me in marriage to Sudarshana according to the prescribed rules. Then in that case, the goddess Chandika will certainly protect us. O Raja, taking whose name destroys a whole host of sins, take her name and think of the Almighty and perform carefully our marriage ceremony. You had better go to the king's assembly today and with folded hands tell them to come tomorrow to the hall of Swayamvara. Then, bidding goodbye to the kings, perform in the right spirit according to the prescribed rites our marriage ceremony. And next, after giving fit dowries and other articles after the marriage, you'd better tell the prince Sudarshana to depart. The son of Dhruvasanti will take me away with him. If at this the kings get angry and be ready to quarrel with you, then in that case the goddess Bhagavati will no doubt help us. Sudarshana will then fight against those kings, and if he loses his life perchance in the battle, then I will also follow him and die. O Raja, let all good come unto you. You had better give me in marriage to Sudarshana and remain here with your army. I will go alone with him, the object of my love. Vyasa said, hearing these words from his daughter, the king Subahu trusted her and firmly resolved to act according to that and to celebrate the marriage of Shashikala. Thus ends the 21st chapter on the Raja of Kashi accepting the advice of his daughter in Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses by Maharshi Veda Vyasa. Chapter 22. Vyasa said, O Raja, then on hearing his daughter's words, that high-souled Raja of Kashi, Subahu, came to the spot where the Rajas were staying and said, O Rajas, now you can go back to your own camps. Tomorrow I will perform my daughter's marriage ceremony. Let you all be pleased with me and graciously accept the food and drink given by me. Tomorrow let you all come here and perform my daughter's marriage ceremony. O Rajas, my daughter is not coming today to this hall of Swayamvara. What can I do now? I will console her and bring her here tomorrow. Therefore do you all go now to your own camps respectively. Intelligent persons should not quarrel with the members of their own family. They should always show kindness towards their own sons and daughters who are under their protection. However, I will make my daughter understand and bring her tomorrow morning. You may all now go to your places as you desire. Tomorrow morning we will settle about the pledge, whether by choice or by fulfilling a promise that requires strength, and have the marriage celebrated. Or better, you all together would decide what mode of Swayamvara is to be adopted. The Rajas thus heard Subahu and they trusted him. Seeing that the city was well guarded on all sides, they went out to their own camps and performed their midday duties. The Raja Subahu, on this side, began to perform all the duties regarding the marriage of his daughter after duly consulting with the chief members of the family. At the appointed time of marriage, he brought his daughter in a well-concealed and guarded chamber within the palace, had the bathing ceremony of the bridegroom-elect performed by the priests versed in the Vedas, and had him well dressed, and did the other requisite things. Then he brought the bridegroom in the house, made him sit on a Vedi platform, and duly worshipped him. Then the large-hearted king gave to the bridegroom a seat of welcome, atamaniya, water for rinsing his mouth, and other articles of food, as require rinsing one's mouth after eating them, arghya, which are articles for worshipping, padyam, water for washing the feet, with an offer of green grass, rice, etc., 2 silken cloths and sheet, cows, and 2 earrings, and then wanted to give Sudarshana his daughter. The high-minded Sudarshana accepted all the offerings given by the Raja. Seeing this, Manorama was relieved of her anxiety. So apparently she did come along with him. It was a little bit unclear from the phrasing earlier. Manorama began to think, that beautiful and well-adorned daughter, as if the daughter of Kubera, the god of wealth, and thanked her and thought as if all her duties were over. Then the royal ministers carried gladly and fearlessly the beautiful Sudarshana, worshipped with ornaments and clothings, in a good nice carriage to the center of the amusement court. On the other hand, the elderly female members of the palace, who knew all about the prescribed rules, performed the dressing of the princess in a befitting manner, and placing her in a beautiful conveyance, took her before the bridegroom-elect in the marriage hall, where there was the platform built according to the regulations. The sacred fire was then lit. The royal priest began to perform the Homa ceremony duly. When the amusement ceremony of the bridegroom and bride united in love was duly performed, the priest called them there. After this, the bridegroom and bride performed duly the Laja Homa ceremony and circumambulated the sacred fire. Thus, all the ceremonies befitting the Gotra and family were all fully performed according to the prescribed rules. Then the Raja Subahu, excited by feelings of love in the marriage time, gave to the Prince Sudarshana the following presents: 200 well-adorned chariots with horses and arrow cases filled with arrows, 125 elephants dressed with golden ornaments looking like so many mountains, 100 more beautiful female elephants, and 100 maidservants who attend the princess, all dressed in golden ornaments. The Raja gave the bridegroom also 1,000 servants well adorned, bearing the complete set of all sorts of weapons as an honor guard. Many gems and jewels, clothings, nice variegated woolen clothes, beautiful capacious rooms to live in, should he wish to dwell in the palace, and 2,000 excellent horses born in the Sindhu country, 300 good camels able to carry sufficient loads, and 200 carriages filled with grains, etc. Then the Raja bowed to the king's daughter Manorama, and with clasped hands said, "O royal daughter, I am now become your servant. Now kindly say, what is your desire?" Hearing these beautiful words of the king, Manorama said, "O Raja, all good to you, and let your family increase in sons and grandsons. You have increased my honor by giving in marriage your daughter to my son. I have no other desire than to see your welfare constant and the increase in your family, posterity, and prosperity. O Raja, you are chief amongst the kings. You have made my son great and strong like the Sumeru mountain by giving him your daughter in marriage. You are high and my relative. I am not the daughter of a panegyrist or a bard. How can I then praise you for this noble act of yours? O Raja, your character is wonderful and pure. What more shall I say to you than this, that you all, in the face of many other kings, have given your daughter to my son in marriage, who is banished from his kingdom, is deprived of his father, and is living in the forest penniless, armyless, subsisting himself on roots and fruits only. In these cases, the Rajas, as a rule, make relations with those only who are their equals in rank and position, of noble families of equal grade, having forces and wealth equal to each other. No other Raja would have offered his beautiful, well-qualified daughter in marriage to my prince who is without any wealth. O Raja, on this your act, all the other Rajas holding great influence and possessing armies have turned out your enemies. I, being a woman, am unable to describe the amount of patience in you." The Raja Subahu of Kashi, hearing the sweet words of Manorama, was highly pleased, and with folded hands began to say, "O Devi, you better take this, my celebrated kingdom. I will become the commander of your forces and will try my best to guard this city. Or you can," he's literally offering her the throne of Kashi. "Or you can take half of my kingdom and remain here with my son. It is not my desire that you leave this city of Kashi and go and live in the forest again. The Rajas have become very offended. I will first try to appease them. If they be not satisfied, I will adopt the means of dana, or sowing dissensions amongst them. And even if in that I fail, I will take to war." So these are traditionally in the Vedic teachings, the four means of dealing with enemies. Sama, danda, bheda, danda. That he's just enumerated in this order. The first sama, the first means, is to try to appease them, to engage in negotiations and see if by negotiation you can resolve the conflict. If that does not work, the next thing to resort to is dana, or gift. See if you can essentially buy them off. If that does not work, then bheda, sow dissensions among them. So in this case, if you have multiple enemies who were not formerly allies of each other, all these different kings, see if by trickery or lies or deceit or espionage or whatever means you can turn them on each other. have them start fighting each other and not be a united force against Kashi. And last resort, Danda, war. So he's saying that he'll follow the typical means of dealing with enemies. O Devi, victory or defeat is under the hands of destiny. Still, victory comes to those who are in the right path, and defeat to those who are in the wrong. How then can the victory arise to those sinful kings? Hearing the king's words pregnant with meaning, Manorama felt herself highly respected, and with a cheerful heart said the following good words. O Raja, let all good come on you. You better discard all fear and reign with your sons here. My son Sudarshana too will become the Raja of Ayodhya with the grace of Sri Bhagavati Bhuvaneshwari, the supreme cause of the innumerable worlds, and will roam in this world. There is no doubt in this. May Bhagavati Bhavani bring all good unto you. Now kindly permit us to depart to our homes, O Raja. Turning down his, having literally just offered her the throne of Kashi. I always contemplate the highest goddess Ambika, and I have no time to indulge in other thoughts. Thus, on various subjects, Manorama and the Raja Subahu talked with each other, causing satisfaction to each other like nectar when the morning broke out. The Rajas, knowing early in the morning that the princess had been given away in marriage, so this was attempted to be kept secret, but evidently there was someone leaked it or they had spies. They became very much enraged and went out of the city and began to discuss with one another. And they said, we will kill today the Raja Subahu, this disgrace amongst the kings, as well as that boy Sudarshana, totally unfit to marry the princess, and take away the kingdom and the princess Shashikala. How can we return to our homes with this severe disgrace stamped on our heads? Hear, O Rajas, the sound of the drums, mridangas, other instruments. The sounds of the conch shells have even been overpowered. Hark the various musical sounds and the chanting of the Vedas. It is then certain that the Raja Subahu has finished the marriage ceremony of his daughter Shashikala with Sudarshana. Oh, the Raja has deceived us with his words and performed the marriage ceremony according to ordinary religious rules. Now, O Rajas, we must decide unanimously what to do and come to a definite conclusion. When the kings were thus discussing, the Raja of Kashi, of indomitable prowess, the Raja Subahu, after finishing his daughter's marriage, came there with his famous friends to invite them. Seeing the Raja of Kashi present, all the other kings did not utter a single word, but they remained silent, glaring with anger. Subahu then approached to the kings, bowed down, and with folded hands said, be kind enough to come to my house for dinner. O Rajas, my daughter Shashikala after all has selected Sudarshana. I could not help this. You are all kind and noble. Therefore, please all be peaceful and let the matter drop. The Rajas, hearing him, were filled with rage and said, we have all taken food. Our desires have been fulfilled. You better now go back to your own home. Your behavior with us is all right and proper. Now do your other duties and let the Rajas go back to their homes. Hearing these words of the kings, the Raja of Kashi was very much terrified and returned home, thinking that the kings were all filled with rage and might do serious harm to him. He was more worried that they didn't express anger, because it seems to indicate that they've given up any kind of negotiating with him and are probably just planning outright force. Thus he began to pass away his time in dire anxiety. Then the Raja Subahu disappeared back into his city. The kings united made this resolve that they would block the passage of Sudarshana out of the city of Kashi, kill him and take away the girl. Some of the kings rather said, what is the use in killing this king's son? We will all go willingly to see the fun. So some of them were in on the plot to kill him. Others are not going to help, but they're not going to impede either. Thus the kings went and remained blocking the path of Sudarshana out of the city of Kashi. And the Raja Subahu, on returning home, began to make arrangements for the departure of the bridegroom and the bride. Thus ends the 22nd chapter on Sudarshana's marriage in Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses by Maharshi Veda Vyasa. Chapter 23. Vyasa said, after paying due respects to his new son-in-law, the Raja Subahu cheerfully entertained him for 6 days with a variety of good dishes. Thus finishing off the marriage ceremony, the Raja, after consulting with his ministers, presented the bridegroom and the bride various jewels and ornaments and other things naturally given on marriage occasions. Then the Raja of Kashi, of brilliant splendor, heard from his messengers that the kings had obstructed the way back of Sudarshana, and became very absent-minded, or rather very distracted by this. Then Sudarshana, a firm resolve, told his father-in-law, O Raja, better now give us order that we may depart. We will go without any fear. O Raja, first we will halt at the holy hermitage of Bharadvaja Muni, and next we will, after due considerations, decide where we would then go. O pure one, you need not fear a bit from these kings. The mother of the universe, the Bhagavati Bhavani, will surely protect us. Vyasa said, O Raja Janamejaya. So this story is all being narrated by Vyasa to Raja Janamejaya. Hearing thus his son-in-law's orders, the Raja Subahu gave him a vast amount of wealth and bade goodbye to him. Sudarshana too quickly departed. The Raja Subahu followed him with a long train of soldiers. Thus Sudarshana went on his journey fearless. The great hero Sudarshana, the descendant of Raghu, with his new consort in the chariot, and followed by many other chariots, saw the waiting soldiers of the several kings. The Raja Subahu, seeing them, became anxious. But Sudarshana gladly took refuge with his whole heart of the all-auspicious goddess Shankari. Sudarshana began to recite silently the excellent one-word Bija mantra of the king of desires, Kama Raja, and out of its power, he and his wife remained in the chariot without any fear or sorrow. Then all the kings came there with their soldiers to fight with Sudarshana and carry away the bride by force, and thus a loud uproar arose. The Raja of Kashi, seeing them, wanted to kill them, but Sudarshana, the descendant of Raghu, desirous of victory, repeatedly asked Subahu not to engage in combat. Loud arose then the uproar caused by the sounds of conch shells, bheri, and war drums of the kings on one side, and Subahu on the other, each of the two parties determining to extirpate the other. Shatrajit prepared himself for the war to destroy his enemy. Yudhajit came there for his help, well equipped with army. Some warrior kings remained there as witnesses with their soldiers, not planning to enter the fight. Then Yudhajit went in front of Sudarshana. His younger brother Shatrajit too attended Yudhajit to kill his brother in the battlefield. Then the warriors, overpowered with anger, shot each other with arrows. A great encounter then ensued in the battlefield with sharp arrows. The Raja of Kashi hurriedly advanced with a great body of army to relieve his son-in-law. Then, when the dreadful war began to grow more and more horrible, the goddess Bhagavati herself suddenly appeared there mounted on her lion. The beauty of her body was exceedingly lovely. She was adorned with various excellent ornaments, and she held various weapons. She wore divine clothing and the beautiful mandara garland suspended from her neck down to her knees. The kings were greatly astonished to see her. They began to argue, who is this lady mounted on a lion? Whence has she so suddenly come? Beholding her, Sudarshana told the Raja of Kashi, O Raja, behold, the divine Mahadevi has come here to favor us. She is very merciful. Now I am completely fearless. Sudarshana and Subahu were highly delighted to see the beautiful goddess, and bowed down to her feet with great devotion. Then the lion, the mount of the goddess, roared, making a tremendous noise. Hearing the roaring of the lion, all the elephants trembled. At that time, the winds began to blow violently, and the four quarters of the sky assumed an awful appearance. Then Sudarshana told his general to carry soon his forces where the kings were staying, blocking his way. What could the vicious kings do now, though they had become very angry? The goddess Bhagavati has come here to save us, he said. Now you all go safely and calmly through the midst of the kings. See, at my remembering her, she has come here mercifully to save us. The general, on hearing these words, became ready to march by that route. Then Yudhajit, very much infuriated, said to all the kings, Why are you all so much fear-stricken? Kill the Sudarshana, stealing away this girl. This lad, weak and without any support, will carry away by force and fearlessly the girl and spiting all of us kings. And won't you be able to do anything? This is very strange. Are you afraid to see this one lady on a lion? O high-minded kings, never trifle away this boy. Kill him with all effort. Killing him, we will then take away the girl. The jackal can never snatch away the lady under the grasp of a lion. Thus saying, the Raja Yudhajit, filled with anger, came to the battlefield with Shatrajit and all his forces. That wicked king drew his bowstring well nigh to his ear, and shot arrow after arrow, sharpened under stone and by blacksmith, at Sudarshana with the object of killing him. Sudarshana cut off all those arrows quickly with his own quick arrows. Thus, when the fight grew intense, the goddess Chandika became very much enraged, and she herself shot arrows at Yudhajit. Assuming diverse forms, the goddess Durga, holding various weapons, the auspicious mother of the universe, began to fight terribly on the battlefield. Shatrajit and the Raja Yudhajit were killed in that terrible battle. Both of them fell dead from their chariots, and a shout of victory arose from the side of Sudarshana. The uncle and cousin of the Raja Subahu were on the side of Yudhajit and were killed. The kings were very much astonished to see them thus lying dead. The Raja Subahu, seeing them dead in the battlefield, became very glad and began to praise and sing hymns in honor of Durga Devi, the destroyer of all difficulties. He chanted, I bow to the auspicious goddess Jagadhatri again and again. I bow to the Bhagavati Durga, the bestower of all desires. I always bow down to her who is auspicious, peace-giving, and the higher Vidya. O Mother, O Giver of salvation, O auspicious one, you are pervading the whole universe. O World Mother and upholder of the universe, I bow down to thee. O World Mother, O Devi, you are devoid of prakritic qualities. You are full of qualities, beyond mind and speech. One cannot think out your prowess, etc., by one's mind. Mother, you are the highest force, ever willing to destroy the miseries of your devotees. Your influence is manifest everywhere. What eulogy can I sing of thee? O Devi, you are the goddess of Vak, of all beings, the goddess of speech. You are the all-pervading intelligence, mind, effort, and movements. You are the controller of the minds of all. Therefore, how can I praise you? O goddess, you are the self of all. How can I sing eulogies to you who are beyond speech and mind, to the universal self? Brahma, Hari, and Hara, and other higher devas have not been able to find the limits of your qualities, though they are incessantly chanting your praises. O goddess, I am the smallest of the smallest. I am without qualification and bound by prakritic qualities. I am ignorant as regards Jiva and Brahman. O Mother, I will never be able to describe your characteristics that are unfathomable. O Mother, why not good companionships affect the fulfillment of one's desires? The purification of my heart has been effected incidentally. O Mother, my son-in-law is wholly devoted to you. Accidentally, there has arisen the connection between him and me, and it is on account of his connection that I have been able to see you. O Mother, today I have got without any restraint and control of passions and samadhi, the rare darshan of you, who is wanted to be seen even by Brahma, Hari, and Hara, Indra, and the other devas, and by the munis who have attained their realization. Therefore, who is there in this Triloki that is so fortunate as I? O Bhavani, where am I, void of intelligence, and where is the rare vision of you, who is the only medicine of this disease of the ocean of world? Still, O Mother, who is worshipped by the devas, I have got your darshana. Now I have come to know that you always show mercy to your bhaktas, who are in their bhavas. O goddess, you have saved Sudarshana in this great war crisis, and you have slain these two powerful enemies. How can I describe your prowess in this matter? This I have understood, that your holy character ever shows mercy on your devotees. O goddess, again this is not a matter to be wondered at, if one considers, for you are protecting this whole universe, moving and unmoving, and accordingly you have now protected out of your mercy your Bhakta Sudarshana, the son of Dhruvasandhi, by killing his enemies. O Bhavani, it is not merely for the protection of your bhaktas engaged in your service that you show this favor, but also to extol the meritorious deeds of your bhaktas that you do such things. Otherwise, how is it that this bhakta, saint-like Sudarshana, by marrying my daughter, has got victory in this battlefield? O Mother, you are fully capable to destroy the fear of birth and death. What wonder is there that you fulfill your the desires of your bhaktas? The bhaktas extol you by characterizing you as saguna, nirguna, and apara, beyond all merits and demerits. O goddess, O Bhuvaneshwari, I am fortunate that I have been able to see you, and thus all my duties have become crowned with success. O Mother, I have no practices in the shape of your meditation, etc., nor do I know any bija mantras of yours. Yet today I have fully seen your glory manifested. Vyasa said, thus extolled by the Raja Subahu, the goddess Bhagavati, bestower of absolute freedom, was pleased and said, O thou practicer of good vows, ask a boon from me. Thus ends the 23rd chapter on the killing of the enemies of Sudarshana in the Great War, in Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses, by Maharshi Veda Vyasa. And I think that might be a good point to pause. We're just about at the end of our time, and this story is still not almost over. There's a lengthy conversation with the goddess, and then we carry on with the life of the Prince Sudarshana and Shashikala and so on. So I think they're at the conclusion of the battle that was building up. It's probably a good breaking point, and we can pick it up there at the start of next time.
Incredible. Thank you, Devila. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma, thank you all for coming.
Thank you so much. You have such a good style of telling this. I was such like on tenterhooks. Okay, what boon are you going to ask for next? So I have to wait a week for that now.
Yes. What boon the Raja Subahu will choose? Yes.
I love. Can I just clarify? Maybe I got a bit confused with the names. So, does Yudhajit have something personally against Sudarshana, or it was just the fact that he's kind of going to get the bride, basically?
No, he does have something personal against him. He Sudarshana was the rightful heir to the kingdom of Kosala, but Sudarshana's younger half brother is Yudhajit's grandson. And for the sake of installing his own relative on the throne, Yudhajit carried out a coup in the kingdom of Kosala. And so he regards Sudarshana, he correctly regards Sudarshana as a lawful threat to essentially his puppet government that he installed in Kosala.
Okay, thank you.
That's what that's about. Yeah.
Thank you. I also sorry. Is it okay to give a couple of comments right now?
Yes, go ahead.
So it was I loved how who was it? Yeah, how Sudarshan said any shame is hers, because I'm a psychiatrist, and I think I've mentioned, and I'm doing a lot of work around compassion and self-compassion, karuna, and I do feel that I'm finding that in terms of mental health problems, the root cause of most suffering, and actually in society in general, in my kind of society, westernized society, is this lack of self-worth and shame. And I just found that sentence so profound, that he says, we often hear, well, Devi's in charge and whatever's going to happen, or fate is in charge, and it's not, I'm not in charge of the consequences. But to actually hear those words, any shame is hers, not mine. I think that's something that people can use that would be really, really helpful, I think, and healing.
Nice.
So
yeah.
It really stood out to me. Just seeing,
nice.
I was making notes. I'm just if there's anything else I wanted to ask.
Yeah. No, thanks for highlighting it. That's I agree. That was a powerful comment that he made, for sure.
Can actually visualize it then as well. People can use that as symbolism, just really, because if you just say, no, you're worthy, but actually to have this higher power or consciousness to kind of offload it to, in a way, or ability to, that we're only human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And just a slightly deviating question. I know there were some lines from the Durga Kavach. Do you have access to, or anywhere you suggest where I can get a full translation? Because that was a really good translation, but obviously it was just a few lines.
Yeah, of the full Durga Kavacha. It's not that hard to buy. I actually have a copy somewhere. Not right off the top of my head, but I could definitely get one for next time and share that.
It would be amazing, because I've looked on the internet, and that's, they're not necessarily reliable sources generally. So somewhere that seems reliable, that would be amazing.
Yeah. I have a copy that's by the Guru Srima. Srima published a version of Chandi Kavacha, which is a really good one, and with the original Sanskrit and translation. I can get that one.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Great questions, Devika. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Devila.
Yeah, yeah.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.